Hello, everybody. I'd like to convene this special meeting of council. We're convened to address two issues, one of which is more housekeeping and one of which is a more significant and fairly urgent issue. It's the letter to the Departments of Natural Resources and the Department of the Environment with reference to glyphosate spraying in Annapolis County. And I'll ask maybe if Carolyn could read the motion for us once more, and then I'll ask if the Deputy Warden would make that motion.
Whereas a growing body of scientific evidence indicates a link between the spraying of glyphosate and the elevated risk of cancer among humans, and the practice of glyphosate spraying is of grave concern to residents of Annapolis County, and the long-term spraying of glyphosate has potential negative consequences for biodiversity in the ecosystems of Annapolis County. A recommendation was made that Municipal Council send a letter to the Minister of the Department of Natural Resources and the Minister of the Environment, strongly urging the province to place an indefinite moratorium on glyphosate spraying in Annapolis County.
Deputy Warden, would you like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Seconded by Councillor Hemming. Discussion on the motion. Councillor Hemming.
If I could, I think that ought to be copied to the Premier as well.
All right, so that's a motion to amend.
Yes.
Seconder for the motion to amend. Seconded by Councillor Prout. Discussion on the amendment itself. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. And then on the motion now as amended, further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much. And the second is with reference to the upcoming virtual election for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. I've been serving as a member of that board now for the last 4 years, and certainly would like to offer my name once again. Obviously, this is pending the results of the election. So Carolyn, you got a motion there to read for us?
Yes. Whereas the Federation of Canadian Municipalities represents the interests of municipalities on policy and program matters that fall within federal jurisdiction, and whereas FCM's Board of Directors is comprised of elected municipal officials from all regions and sizes of communities to form a broad base of support and provide FCM with the prestige required to carry the municipal message to the federal government, it was the suggested motion is that the Council of the Municipality of the County of Annapolis endorse Timothy Habinski to stand for election on FCM's Board of Directors for the period starting in June 2020 and ending June 2021. I think those are the right dates. And that Municipal Council assume all costs associated with Timothy Habinski attending FCM's Board of Directors meetings.
So move.
Thank you, Councillor Fowler. Could I have a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Councillor Hemming. Discussion on the motion? Councillor Hemming.
I just want to say I strongly support this. I mean, the feedback I get from FCM, which is not a lot, but what I do get, especially from some of the representatives in Nova Scotia, you've been a tremendously powerful voice for this municipality, and it's paid dividends, and I appreciate the time that you put into that.
Thank you, Councillor Hemming.
This is true.
Councillor McDonald.
So I'm not sure I was next, but okay. So this position, you'd be representing the province of Nova Scotia? I forget, or is it rural Nova Scotia?
Essentially, Nova Scotia has 4 representatives for all Nova Scotian municipalities on the board of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities.
Yeah.
2 of those are permanent appointments and 2 are at-large appointments. The 2 permanent appointments are City of Halifax and the president of NSFM, and the 2 at-large appointments at it's been myself and Tom Taggart in Colchester County for the last several years. That's correct. And in fact, this week, right now, 2 years ago, we had the board of FCM right here in Annapolis County for their board meeting. The FCM board meeting is taking place this week. I missed the sessions today in order to chair this meeting, but I've got all-day meetings virtually all week to be involved in those committees. So the work continues even though we're staying at home. Deputy Warden.
So when is the election day for FCM?
I'd have to look it up. I think it's October 29th, but I'd have to verify. I can send you an email to let you know for certain.
Well, and I'm just wondering, because to me, I feel like I'm making a motion that should be the incoming council's decision, not the previous. Because there could be somebody new that gets in that wants to have that position, and we're already making that decision. And myself personally, I don't think that's fair.
The new council won't be sworn in until after the FCM election is completed. And in the normal course of things, this would have been decided back in June, because the normal election would take place in June. So it would have taken place long in advance of the election. The only reason it's this late this year is because of COVID-19. Further discussion? Councillor Gunn.
Thank you. So FCM didn't realize that the elections were this fall, and they should have put theirs off as well, or had theirs earlier in the year. What's going on?
The board and the board executive in particular debated exactly how to proceed with this. There were some who suggested that the election should simply be suspended for an entire year, but that's a bit of a burden on the table officers, particularly the table officers who are mayors of larger centers, to spend an additional full year in that position, because you count on handing it off after about 12 months. So I personally am not a fan of driving an electoral process during COVID-19 just in general. I'm not certain that it's the best process for moving things forward, but I recognize all the logistical necessities, and of course from the staffing position at FCM, they want to have some continuity. So they want to see that turnover happen in an orderly fashion. Councillor Morrison.
Thank you. I don't consider myself a lame duck. Each one of us was elected for a full 4-year term, and our powers continue until that term is over. And unless there are compelling reasons with some other subject to put it off, I'm not in favor of that at all. I'm not going to be emasculated simply because there's an election coming up. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hammond?
Just one final observation. The progress that we've made, this council has made, particularly with FCM. I remember when we raised the idea that we were going to see if we could get the FCM conference here, the board meeting here. We got tremendous blowback from other municipalities in Nova Scotia, and FCM uncertain that we were, I suppose, qualified to put this on, but we did, and the feedback has been absolutely tremendous. It may be one of the more powerful meetings that FCM has had, and so hats off to A Rural Place for pulling that in.
That's right. Thank you, Councillor. We were the first rural municipality in the country to host an FCM board meeting, and that was no small thing. And as a result of that, they are open to being hosted by further rural municipalities, and that's positive as well.
Question?
Very nice.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried. Thank you very much.
Nay recorded, please.
Thank you very much. And at that point,
And nay recorded. Don't forget me.
thank you.
What was the count on the motions then? I didn't hear any nays at all.
So now I've received 2 nays that have asked to be recorded, the Deputy Warden and Councillor Gunn.
Thank you.
Motion's carried. And at that point, thank you everybody for your time today. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I declare the meeting adjourned. Thanks very much.